millions of years, mankind lived just like the animals. Then, something happened that arrested the power of his mind. He learned to play football.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much indeed. Now can I... Sorry, did I say something? Ladies and gentlemen, can I just point out we've got someone very special in the audience tonight, and I don't mean sitting up there with the fat cats, you know, no. Someone who's in fact paid for his ticket, you know. Yeah. No, someone who indeed is very, very special. Someone who's indeed a legend. Someone who is and was and ever shall be... arguably the greatest living Scottish player still alive. And not yet dead. Someone who had more skill in his big toe than some people have in the entire foot, you know. No, he really was. He was cool, he was elegant, and he was deadly, you know, but now he's just a wee fat sight. He is. But he's still a very good friend of mine, so please, a very big hand, please, for Mr. Bobby Shearer. Come on, Bobby, stand out there. Come on now. There we go. I'm terribly sorry, madam. Please forgive me. I think I got away with it, I'm not sure. Ladies and gentlemen, it's wonderful to be here. Wherever it is I am, you know. But, come on, let's not beat about the shrubbery here. Let's not mince with our words. Scottish football, let me tell you, boy. Oh. Scottish football, without wishing to sound too pessimistic and too negative, I mean, Scottish football is in one hell of a mess, you know. No, it is. It's sick. It's ill. It's got the terminal dry boke. And, well, it has, I'm sorry, but it has. And as football suffers, so do you. The life's blood of the game. The punters, the fans. The mugs with more money than sense, you know. But if we are to make things better, we have to find a cure. Or start taking powerful hallucinogenic drugs, you know? Maybe then we'll find answers to questions like, if all the world is a football, is Scotland the bladder? I don't know. Scottish sports writers. You there, boys? Which Ranger will be their player of the year this season, eh? I don't know. It's true, though, it's true, you know. And what about Fergus McCann, eh? Wee Fergus. Yes. Is he there? No. Did wee Fergus actually buy Celtic for the good of the club? Or was it just so as he could get a bird? I don't know. Well, you know, I mean, no, it's true. I mean, who's got the answers, eh? The Smithsonian Institute, or or Mensa, or Sportsing. Thank you.
Good evening. Welcome to this very special edition of Sports Scene. Coming to you live from Tillicoultry. Now, tonight we have a special report on the state of the game. Can we see it? No, we can't. Can we? No. Well, perhaps in that case, maybe the lawman could help us out. Dennis?
What happened? Is Eamon Bannon getting his head waxed tonight? I don't know.
Dennis, it's good to see you.
Yes, it is.
Now, Dennis, justifiably or not, there's an awful lot being said about the state of our game at the moment. And just to put things into perspective, and I'm sure our audience would love to hear your thoughts, how do you feel about Scotland's current international standing?
Well, I have no thoughts. I have no views. Only opinions, and I would say, you know, there are no easy teams at international level, apart from Scotland. And I would say that any win must be viewed as a victory.
Yes, of the current crop of Scottish international players, who has impressed you, Dennis?
The boy Giggs. Yeah. Oh, that's good, eh? Yeah. Giggsy, yeah. He's fast, he's cool, he's deadly. He could be the new me, or I could be the old him, or something, I don't know. And what about the boy Collins, eh? Oh, the way he bends those free kicks in, you know. That's one thing you got to say about Johnny Collins. He's a jammy wee bastard, you know. And what about Bergkamp at the Arsenal? Not many people know this, but he was actually named after me, you know? No, it's true. It's a little known fact, but Dennis is in fact Dutch for Dennis.
You've never tried management, Dennis?
No, I've never tried management, but I have to say I really admire the young managers of today and the way they serve their apprenticeship with a wee ditty team, like Stevie Archibald at East Fife and Roy Aitken at Aberdeen, you know?
Tell me, how do you rate the Scottish media?
I think the media in Scotland is very Scottish. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, I haven't a clue. I think they're very conscientious, and I think they give a wide variety of opinions about Rangers. I mean, come on, the media, right? The media is all about characters, and in Scotland, well, you're loping with them, you know. People well like yourself, Dick. And Graham Spears of the Smart House on Sunday, you know. And what about Jim White, eh? Oh yeah. Oh no, come on now. Oh Jimbo, come on. Always so smartly dressed in such distinctive blue blazers, you know? With embroidered badges about here, you know? Think it was a hand or something, you know? Think it was red.
Turning to your own career, Dennis, you scored a lot of goals.
I scored a lot of goals.
So how did you feel when Ian Rush finally broke that long-standing FA Cup goal-scoring record?
I felt fine. Records are meant to be broken, so well done, Rushy.
Now, Dennis, over the last 12 months or so, football's reputation has been dragged through the mire, dragged through the courts even, thanks to those allegations of bribery, irregular payments, bungs, if you like. I wonder if at any time, Dennis, perhaps you were offered money to throw a game?
No, I was never offered money to throw a game. But I was offered money to throw myself under a bus. No, I was, which was sad. But that was in Torino, you know, in Torino, when things weren't going too well. And, you know, I think it's very sad that if a young boy wishes to play Italian football, he has to go all the way to Italy, you know. I think that's sad. I don't like it.
Finally, Dennis, how would you sum up the current state of football?
How would I sum up the current state of football? In a word, I would sum it up with this: the low man's creed. When a seagull, right? Now listen, this is good, this. It is, I stole it. Where was I? Oh, yes. When a seagull follows the trawler in search of sardines, then sometimes the seagull will shit on the fisherman's head.
Dennis, I think that says it all.
It does? Oh, thank you very much.
Indeed.
Hey!
So that was really him?
That was really him.
Who was the other guy?
I don't know. His Doogie Donnelly impersonation was rotten, wasn't it?
I nearly forgot, Greg. I'm not talking to you after you slagged off our national pastime.
National pastime? I didn't make any mention of drinking.
No, football. Oh, right. Football, the country's great security blanket. The Valium of the people. The dummy tit in which the nation sucks.
What is this, Braveheart? They may take our lives, but they'll never take our football. Come on.
Your idea's better then.
All I'm saying is I prefer the intellectual approach, asking questions. You don't learn anything if you don't ask questions.
Come on, depends who you're asking. Hello, Greg. Scotty McClure here. How's it going? Greg, here, what do you want to talk about? Fatties. What about the old heave-ho? Socio-economic decline of society using football as a metaphor.
Look, all I'm saying is that football isn't really a sport anymore. It's just a series of incidents, staged managed so they can sell papers.
Stage managed?
Yeah.
The Stevie Kirk incident hits a wee lassie in the stand with a ball.
Well, that had to be an accident. I mean, when did Stevie Kirk ever hit anything he aimed at?
Right. Match at Firhill. Chick Chandler gets pelted by 2 coins.
John Lambie giving him his redundancy money? I don't know.
All right, the Scottish Cup final. Now, I know it was a big emotional occasion, but all that hugging, kissing and slobbering.
You got me there. John Martin snogging the Duchess of Kent was disgusting.
And all the while you've got the fans going, give us facts, give us rumours, give us a full-page pointless ramble by Bill Leckie. You've no idea the pressure that puts the pundits under.
Really?
Chick Young's on 3 bottles a day.
Wow.
Peroxide, henna, crazy colour.
Pressure? Come on, Lewis.
You just don't get it, do you? You just don't know what it's like to live on planet football. To have grass grow under your oxters. To have sawdust line your spine. To have bovril run through your arteries to a heart of 100% pure Scottish mutton. Until you know that, you know nothing.
Okay, come on, prove it. Prove it's so great. Take me to a game.
Oh, don't. Is that not a bit drastic?
If it's really that brilliant, then I want to experience it. I want to know the ultimate thrill. So come on, let's do it.
Right.
Beam me up to Planet Football.
You got it, pal.
Who's playing?
Brechin versus Montrose.
Ask not what can football do for me, but what can I not do for football? The soccer world has ta'en a maddie. Dosh rules okay. Megabuck machinations have turned the ballet of the working classes into the slosh of the upper echelons. The banquet is over, but we are still Hank Marvin. We swallow the Diet Coke of self-delusion and dance La Dolce Vita as our game wastes away. The wee teams are getting weird. The corporate hospitality suites are getting bigger. The fan is becoming disenfranchised. At least, in this respect, they are not alone.
And welcome back to Radio Clyde Super Snowboard with me, Archie McPherson, where things are finally starting to happen, and woof! Alex Dixon takes too long there, in steps Tom Hunter, and there's a neat touch, and woof! Scott FM have snapped up the league broadcasting rights for the next 2 seasons. Davy Prov and I put it to you, that must surely put Radio Clyde in a slightly awkward position.
Hello, Archie. Yes, Archie. Well, Archie, I'd say we've just taken a quality reaming.
Thanks, Davy. Back with the action. There's Walker. Tries a back heeler. It doesn't come off. Boyd, back to Walker. Tries a back heeler. It doesn't come off. McLaughlin, he falls. It comes to Walker. Tries a back heeler. It doesn't come off. Perhaps it's time for an update, starting with Derek Johnston.
Brian Laudrup, superb, unbelievable. I don't believe it. His dribbling skills are a joy to watch. Now, I've said it before and I'll say it again and again and again and again. There's no doubt about it whatsoever. Brian Laudrup, magnificent. Now, I know some of our listeners think we go over the top about the man, but he is sheer different class. Judge for yourself when you see him on the box tonight, tomorrow, the news on Monday, next Friday. And next Saturday lunchtime. And with that, it's back to the studio and the news that the score here is Falkirk 0, Motherwell 0.
Thanks, Derek. Now over to David Syme.
Hello, Archie. This is a very exciting match down at the Trail of the Blank, where the Crappolo Flans are celebrating Morton's first, which came literally after their second, with a superb strike from their finisher Rajamak, who plopped up at the far post to level to make the score. Greenock 2, Morton 1. Dumbarton 4. And with that, it's over to Tommy Gemmell.
Hey, hello, Tommy Gemmell here. Oh, at the match. And the referee's Hugh Bunkle from Dallas.
Hi, Terry Butcher here, and what a match this is. Right from the start, it's been end-to-end stuff. There's been no let-up in the action, and it's a rip-roaring, blood-and-thunder affair, and it's a chance for...
Sorry to interrupt you there, Terry. But Charlie Miller has just tied his bootlace. And here he is now, and woof! He sclaffs it wide. It's popped in, scooped back, deftly blutered, and there's a neat muff. Perhaps that would be an appropriate moment to bring in Chick Young.
Yes, is me, Chick Young, standing where I am, which is here. There's an old saying that goes, one good Hun deserves another. So I have with me one James Jimmy Nicol, the true blue Belfast-born Billy Boy himself. A man who's not so much kissed the Blarney Stone as gied a right good winchin'. Jimmy, hello, hello, we are truly the Billy Boys. However, I suppose we better talk about Wraith Rovers. Last season, satisfied?
Well, to be honest, Chick, no, you know. I didn't enjoy it one bit.
Ach, your arse!
Oh, yeah. Honestly, you know, I hated the pressure, you know. I just couldn't enjoy the games. I was just glad when it was all over, you know.
But what about the Coca-Cola Cup final? A classic example of the underdog over the giant, of David over Goliath, of Presbyterianism over Hillside!
Well, to be honest, you know, I felt we weren't given the credit we deserved for that win, you know. I mean, the next day and the next 3 months, the press didn't praise Wraith Rovers at all. They just got stuck in a Celtic.
Of course we get stuck into Celtic. That's our job. And then he comes away with all this, I felt sorry for the Celtic boys and poor old Paul McStay. Me, I lapped it up with a soup spoon. My only regret was that Peter Grant wasn't playing because, see that?
Sorry. Apologies, Chick, and just as I speak, whoa! Perhaps you would like to describe that incident, Davy?
Yes, Archie. You were just sitting there and suddenly, right out of the blue, you went, whoa! But I believe we get some news coming in from around the grounds, starting with Tommy Gemmell, who could be on Neptune as far as we can make out. Tommy?
Hey, hello. Tommy Gemmell here again at the match, and oh, so there it is.
Yes, Tommy. The stakes could not be higher.
Good shout, Davy. Sorry, Davy. You're absolutely right, Davy, and I totally disagree with you. But before we go into that in any detail, let's go to the phone lines.
Hello, I want to speak to Hugh Keevins.
Clyde One Sport. I'm Hugh Keevins, or am I?
Hello, Hugh. So where are these Fitbod jerseys they keep bringing out, right? And I bought one about 6 months ago, right? And then I bought another one about 2 months ago. And then I bought another one about 2 weeks ago. What's the score, man? I'm disgusted.
Yes, caller, I know what you're saying. You're obviously, and I would say quite justifiably, upset by what you see as the club's quite simply ripping off the fans.
No. I was just wondering if you had any tips to prevent bobbling, you know. I wash them, I wear them, I wash them, I wear them.
If I could just interrupt you, Hugh.
If I could just interrupt you, Archie, because I have with me now a man who beats the drum for Falkirk almost as hard as he does for the Blantyre Loyal Flute Band. George Fulston. George, how are the stadium development plans coming along?
Oh, flippin' hell!
Hold on, Derek. The emergency generator will be on in a minute. That's it now. Different class. And can I just say?
No, you can't, because I'm now up here in Aberdeen, hoping to start a fight between the big two. Thank you. Hoping going to start a fight between the big two, Roy Aiken, Big Roy, the Bear, and Willie Miller, Lee Van Ref. Arguably the last truly great moustache in Scottish football. The legend whose job Roy nicked. Lads, join me please. And starting with you, Willie, I know you're still hurting over what happened. It is still for you a very sensitive issue, but I put it to you that no wonder you got the rubber ear. Yous were pish. And in dire straits.
I don't necessarily agree with that, Chick. We're unbeaten in our last 5 draws. And tactically, we're starting to get the balance right between the back 4 and the 5 sweepers that play just behind them.
But Willie, to the fans, you were the one, the saviour, Don the Baptist, the Grampian Moses, and yet, metaphorically speaking, you stood in a jobby. And that jobby was failure. Life's a beach end, eh? Turning to you, Roscoe. When you took over, things were bad. Did you, in your head of heads, ever doubt that you wouldn't escape the drop?
No, never. It's a challenge. I never allowed the players' heads to go down and forced them to show character.
You listening to this?
Then, we altered tactics and tried a new idea, a midfield. But, you know, we still needed somebody to connect with the strikers. And in Paul Kane, I think I found a missing link.
Yes, well, anyone who's seen Paul close up wouldn't argue with that. Back to you, Willie. Seeing this man reaping the benefits of all your hard work must be one bitter lemon to soak. Has it in any ways left you unhinged, as say maybe is a dressing room door?
No, I'm fine, and regardless of what people might have thought at the time, I wasn't suffering from stress and paranoia at the time I attacked that door. The whole incident would never have happened if the door hadn't laughed at me.
Thanks, Willie. Finally, Roy, Booth and Jess.
Yes, Chick, it's a challenge. The good news is both players are staying with Aberdeen.
So, there we have it. Scott Booth stays and Ian Jess stays, which means at least some job security for the club physio. Oh, I believe we get some news coming in from around the ground, starting with Tommy Gemmell.
Oh. Yes, Tommy Gemmell here at Kilmarnock, where it's all Hibs in a match that has nothing each written all over it. And oh, look at that. Kilmarnock have scored.
If you could just talk us through the goal, Tommy.
Oh, right. Well, the Hibs team is... no. As Kilmarnock boss Alex Totten was saying to me before the match, that when he was with Shanks, one of the things Shanks used to say was, score before they equalised first. And that way you'll 1-0 Killie.
If you just tell us who the scorer was, Tommy, in your own time, that would be quite useful.
Sorry, Davey. Alex Dixon on the counter-attack there, trying for one last chance to regain rights to commentaries that he's not really that bothered about losing to Scott FM. He tries one last ploy and woof!
Is there a McKee plays for Kilmarnock? It might have been him that scored.
Pushing the soccer addiction. has torn the house of football apart. But if Scottish football is now one big unhappy family, then one big unhappy family is Scottish football. McLean. Not McLean as in Alistair, Lex, Dandy, or toothpaste. But McLean as in Jim and Tommy, Crabbit and Torn-faced. And theirs is a tale of two cities. It was the best of times, it was the worst of times. It was Dundee disunited and Hearts in a mid-Lothian crisis, with a new formula for the fans. Pi R round equals Chris Robinson squared.
Gentlemen, thanks for coming. As chairman of Heart of Midlothian Catering Service, I mean Football Club, it gives me great pleasure to announce to you here today our new manager, Tommy McLean.
There's no way, and let's get things perfectly clear here. Make no mistake, and in terms of winning things, I'm here for one reason, and that is to bring this club back to the glory days in 1972, when it won the Quizball trophy. Now, if you'll excuse me, Chairman, I've got work to do. I'd like you to meet my number 2. Are you there, Forsyth?
My name is Forsyth Gump, but you can call me Forsyth Gump. I'm so hungry. Where are all these jam tarts everybody keeps talking about? You know, my mama used to say, Forsyth, life is like a box of chocolates. Some swine's been into the bottom layer and eaten all the good ones.
As wee Tam cast an eye over the first team pool, he could hardly contain his excitement at the talent he had inherited. Henry Smith, whose speciality was not so much the scorpion, more the dying swan. Willie Jimison, cool, skillful, deadly. He was none of these. And John Cahoon, the man who would be Pat Nevin. Meanwhile, up in Dundee, the wee joiner had no other option but to scale the Golac heights of nonsense and reclaim the summit in the name of pragmatism. The statement was brief and to the point. Bugger off, Ivan, and don't come back. The big Croatian, like his friends, the Flowers, was well and truly plucked.
Hi. But enough about me. You know, I'm really sad I get the air of rubber. Yeah, I am. Because, you know, the players looked to me as some kind of parent. They did, you know. Many times I heard them going, you know, Ivan, you're one crazy mother. Oh, let me check. Yeah, what about that player, Sergio? Gosh, he's great, isn't he? Oh, I mean, if he'd be Brazilian, we'd be talking about him all night, you know. What do you reckon? What's he worth now? 10, 15, 20 million? Embassy coupons? Okay, I get the notebook, I get the jotters. But, you know, maybe I'm off my head, but, you know, I don't apologize. No. Because if I'd still been at United, we'd be up there with Rangers. Cove Rangers. Well, hey, listen, life's too short for grudges, eh? I still have a soft spot for Jim McLean. It's a piece of quicksand out in Croatia.
Ah, well, as Nietzsche said, or was it D. Ream? Things can only get better. Sure as heck couldn't get any worse.
May I be allowed to speak? Yes, it's me, McMurdo. Beelzebul. Founder member of the Save the Lanark Bellucci's Liberation Army. And I have here in my cloven hoof a contract for one of your players. And oh, what's this? It's a 10-year contract. Explainez-vous, s'il vous plaît.
That's absolute rubbish. There's no player at United, there's never been a player at United, a player on a 10-year contract.
Ah, come on, Jim, I have the proof. A 4-year contract and a 2-year option and a 2-year extended trial period. 1.5-year suspended sentence. 6 months credit, APR 18%. Written details on request. The contract bears the club's crest, the sign of the pentagram, and is signed with virgin's blood.
Well, that proves it's a fake. A virgin in Dundee.
Come on, Jim, tell the truth and shame the devil. I'll tell him the next time I'm talking to him.
Okay, a fib.
I told a lie. By the time I genuinely believed it was an honest lie. I was only trying to save the boy.
Oh, come on, Jim, you're not Jesus Christ.
Well, how come I'm being crucified then?
You know, it makes me gutter laugh, it really does. You know, listen to them. You'd think that being a manager of a football club was a job with responsibilities or something. Okay, look, Dundee United, you know, they spend a fortune and get the relegation. But hey, that's business. Sometimes you've got to speculate, to humiliate. Okay, what do you want me to say? Okay, we're crap, we don't win. No, get it up, you. No. No way, I say we're brilliant and we don't win. But you know, me personally, I chill out now, you know. Take it easy, sit back, take stock of the situation. But hey, I like the Terminator. I'll be back. Hasta la pasta, Benz.
Every 20 days, somewhere in Scotland, a football pitch disappears under the wheels of a property developer's JCB. But it's not fields of dreams we need, but fields of dreamers. We need to zap the CD-ROM Mega Drive Game Boys and reintroduce the lost generation to the joys of Gravel Rash, cramp and blisters. Now is the time to set things right. Now is the time to see the light. The time to give possession of the ball back to the kids. The time to take aim and shoot.
Hello, my name's Tommy Craig. And how come Celtic didn't give me a chance rather than went on the stank, eh? Oh, sorry, did I say that? Oh, I do apologise. I'll do it again. You still running? Okay, right, fine. Hello, I'm Tommy Craig, and welcome to Shit. I'm really sorry. I'll do it again. You still running? You still going? Right? Okay, it's all right. It's fine, right. Hello, I'm... It was in the tip of my tongue as well. One last time. Okay, right, we'll get it after, right. Hello, I'm Tommy Craig, and welcome to Shoot.
And I'm Charlie Nicholas. Welcome as well on that, no? Shoot! It's Essentially Weekly.
Right, on with the show. Over the weeks, we've been giving advice and tips on how to be a successful footballer. We've covered such topics as how to avoid a knockback at Vicky's, mortgage arrears and how to avoid them, and last week we did Frank McAvenny's Pulling a Bird Masterclass. This week, our advice to you budding footballers is that most important of things is for you to have a knowledge about knowing is. Charlie.
That's right, Tommy. And who better to know what we're talking about than us, Tommy? Tommy.
You're absolutely right, Charlie. How to earn a crust after your career, however mediocre, has come to an end. The first thing you have to do is not just become an ex-footballing dud, but a personality.
No doubt about that, Tommy. But what's the right personality for you? You might decide on the ever-popular bevy merchant, with or without homicidal tendencies. A driving offence is quite useful too, especially if you're lucky enough to pick up a band, because not only does it get your name in the paper, but you've got to sell the car.
Which gives you extra cash to develop your drink problem.
That's right, Tommy. Other options include
1.
Buy a pub.
2.
Buy a share in a pub.
3.
Drink the pub and drive a taxi.
Shit! Can you miss to afford it? Right. Question time. Would you like to ask me a question, Charlie?
Yes, Tommy. What do you think of my move to Clyde?
Difficult one, Charlie. Are you not a bit old to be stepping up a grade?
Shit!
Right, back to the show. Of course, there is another traditional way to make money, Charlie.
What's that, Tommy?
A testimonial.
And here to tell us more about them is this week's expert, Jerry McNee.
Jerry, we understand from reading your column every week that you don't agree with testimonials.
That's right. So can you exclusively reveal why?
Right, this is Jerry McNee, the voice of a football. And the face of a boot. Saying to you, I am not without compassion. I do think there should be testimonials. For example, for players who have had to suffer the misfortune of a career-wrecking injury, or having signed for Dundee United. Let me illustrate. I have come here today to Fir Park, Motherwell, to witness the crowning glory of the Scottish football season, the Junior Cup final. And let me tell you, there is no talk of testimonials at this level. When you pick up a bad injury in junior football, you get put down. Now, I know that might sound a bit drastic to some of you, but surely not if it's done humanely. Anyway, back to the action, the Junior Cup final. Sit back, enjoy a feast of football and a special ignoring the playoffs edition of Scott Sport.
Hi, Jim White here. Okay, cards on the table. That photograph of a young, foolish me with a moustache and wearing an orange band jacket has, I know, caused some upset. All I can say is, I'm sorry, forgive me. I promise never, ever to grow that moustache again. As for the jacket, you got a problem with that? But moving on, John Lambie, are you looking forward to the start of the season?
Well, Jim, it was a fight for survival to stay in the Premier League, you know.
Actually, Jim, I meant the walking season, but never mind. Let's talk about the football. Who do you fancy today? Is it Camelon or Whittyburn or?
Camelon versus Whitburn.
Cheers, Jerry. John?
Well, Jim, I've got to go for my hometown, Whitburn.
All right, so that's why we've got you on. Well, of course, the atmosphere here is building up to apathy pitch. But if you can't stand this excitement, they're always playing the league decider for Serie A in Italy, and that's on Channel 4.
Ravanelli, Vialli, oh, that was close. Joe Jordan.
Aye, Baggio and Vialli get all the allocades, and sometimes that can leave them with a pretty sore taste in their mouth. But the atmosphere here is absolutely tremendous. Both teams maybe looking a wee bit vulnerable, but I'm sure once the nerves settle, Juventus will win, because although Parma look hungry, I think Juventus looks starving.
Your comments, Ray Wilkins.
Hello, Peter. Hello, Joe. Hello, world. Buongiorno. Bonjour. Guten Tag. Hola. Nanu nanu. Umgawa. Core blimey, love a duck, roll out the barrel. Flash bang wallop. What a picture Ravanelli made when he scored that. A goal scorer's goal, scored quite simply by a goal scorer. Superb.
Well, I'm sorry, Ray, but I think Don Howe wants to say something.
If I could just... sorry, Roy. The thing is what you've got to do, and that's what Parma aren't. Because, all right, they've got little Zolo, and unlike Sarsaparilla and Sampdoria, they're knocking them in and knocking it back, but what they're not doing, which is what they should be doing, is see, look at him. See what I mean? Exactly.
I'm sorry, Governor, but I think your comments are well out of order, my son.
Come on, lads. Do I detect a bit of tension?
Yeah, you're right, Peter. Please accept my ever so humble apologies. It's just that I can't concentrate on Juventus versus Parma when I know that Camelon are playing Whitburn.
Well, what a match. John Lambie, talk us through that first goal.
Goalie has it. Makes a Hashia throw out. Goal.
Thanks for that insight, John. And the second?
I didn't actually see that one, Jim. I was watching the Italian game on the telly.
Second Camelon goal. MD see it? MD at all? Jerry?
Sorry, Jim, I was watching Little House on the Prairie.
Who do you fancy in the playoffs, Lambo? The Pars or the Sheep Shack? Oh, sorry, or the Dons?
Couldn't you give a monkeys, Jim?
I think the main problem with this final was that none of the clubs were from Ayrshire. I feel the absence of any of the big Ayrshire teams meant there was just far too much emphasis on trying to play football.
Nice one, Solomon. And of course, in anticipation of one or two or maybe even three of the Ayrshire Wee Giants reaching the final, I believe the Junior FA had come up with some new rules to ensure the conclusion of the match. Right, Skipper?
Aye, aye, Jim lad. After the 90 minutes, there would be a break for fish suppers. Then extra time. If it's still level, we'd have a shootout. The team with the most players not shot wins.
And then, of course, they'd all go off for the traditional fight in the car park. John Lambie, did you ever play in the Ayrshire Junior Leagues?
No.
And did that experience help you?
Aye.
At this point, we could have asked someone who knows well the Ayrshire psyche, because he is one, fellow presenter Alan McAnally. But sadly, Alan isn't with us today. He's dogging it. Jay, next time you see him, will you be demanding a note from his mum?
That won't be necessary, Jim, because I can exclusively reveal that Alan is back playing football again.
Are you sure about that, Jerry?
Well, when I inquired as to his whereabouts, I was told he had been playing away from home.
Alan McAnally, what a character. Right, Jay?
No.
Thanks. Okay, for those of you watching without a television set, coming up after the break.
He's tall, he's lovable, he has a distinctive haircut. But what the Ibrox faithful really want to know is Broxy Bear a Catholic?
Falkirk's John Clark reveals how he slimmed down to a svelte 15 stone with his very own exclusive F-all-plan diet.
We compare Yogi Hughes to Paolo Maldini, just for badness.
Seven is more than nine. We ask Richard Gough, what school did you go to?
As Chick Young and Alien, we investigate reports that those funny markings on his head are actually a corn circle.
And finally, did Jim McLean leak the Celtic Petrick story so that Rangers could up the price and shaft Celtic once again? Let's hope so. See you after the break.
Is this the real life? Is this just fantasy? Caught in a turnstile, No escape from banality. Open your eyes, look up to the sky, and cable, and BBC, and ITV. For television no longer meddles in football. Television is football. The technology is moving faster than Fergus McCann leaving a petrol station. The current lifespan of the state-of-the-art equipment is as brief as a Fergie reprieve at Hamilton Accies. Television sets can now be installed in more appropriate places. Therefore, in Los Angeles, they have them in cars. In London, they have them in filofaxes. In the Grampian television region, they have them in urinals. But historically, when it comes to taking the piss, television has always managed to tie a knot in itself in its quest for what in question.
Welcome back to Sport in Question with me, Saint, and him, Gravesy, where tonight's programme is all about the European Championships, and that gives us a great opportunity to give pelters to Craig Brown.
Can I just say something here?
Sure thing, Gravesy.
Football's a funny old game, Saint, because, Saint, it's a funny old game, Saint, really it is.
Isn't it no just? At this point, I'd like to bring in Kenny Dalglish. Where's Kenny? Kenny, do you think we're too easy-osy in our condemnation of Craigsy?
What?
Do we slag Craig Brown enough?
Who knows? Who can say? Apart from yourself. Be me, personally. If I was speaking for me. I could only offer a personal opinion about Craig Brown. Which, at the end of the day, might not necessarily be mine.
That's a good point, Kenny. I mean, it makes no sense at all, but it is a good point.
Mind you, Gravesy, if Craig Brown is such an uncharismatic wee tube, how come Big Jock Steed offered him a job?
He needed someone to run to the bookies for him, I suspect.
We'd just like to say that we did invite Craig Brown onto tonight's programme so that he could have his say, but he declined our offer. Actually, that's a lie, we didn't.
Who do you think Craig is going to name as his successor, Saint?
Well, to be honest, Gravesy, I don't think he'd wish that job on his worst enemy.
Well, that rules out Richard Gough, then, doesn't it?
Stop it, Gravesy, you're cracking me up. Of course, what you've got to remember, though, is that there's a new think tank being set up under Ernie Walker to help cure Scottish football's ills. Are you there, Father?
Ernie, some people are saying you're too old for this. I mean, what do you say?
I can assure you there's nothing wrong with my mind, Gravesy. Apparently, the first thing that goes is your memory. Then, apparently, the first thing that goes is your memory. Then, apparently, the first thing that goes is your memory.
Magic. But is talking the answer? Shouldn't we be taking a leaf out the Continental's book, like, say, the Dutch set up in Holland? And I'm wondering, Greavesy, have you ever thought of Ajax?
Ajax, never. Brasso, yeah, Bel Air occasion.
Some man, Greavesy. Staying in Europe, let's head down Mexico way. And say, bonjour, Ozzy Ardiles. How's it hanging, Ozzy?
To be... To be pretty honest, I watch the Scotch Sport videos all the time, and I know very well your teams like your Murray Wells and your Patrick Tissers and your Haybeth, and also all the time when you play Rangers. I also know of the... thank you very much for that. I also know of your Sunday Post and your Doug Baileys and your Red Lichties and Gabelendis and Scalping the Bull into the Onion Bag. I may be wrong, but it all sounds very much like a game we play here in South America called football.
Ozzy, without going into too much boring detail about what we're actually talking about, is this the way ahead?
I personally think it's a good idea. Because to be pretty honest, it all depends, because what you have is the chicken and egg situation. It all depends very much on what comes first, the chicken or the egg. Personally, I feel like chicken tonight, like chicken tonight, like chicken tonight.
That's a finger-licking good idea there, Ozzy. Did you want to say something, Graham Souness?
Yeah, for sure. Can I just say something here? Cynical fouls, calling the referee, and use of the elbow. It's all part and parcel of the modern game. But when I saw what Eric Cantona did to that fan, all I could think was, Christ, I wish I'd done that. Now, can I just say something else here? As you might say, Greavesy, football really is a funny old game. Because when you think that for doing what he did, Cantona ends up with £1 million Nike contract. For doing what they did, being the most disciplined team in the league, Dumbarton end up with the Walker's Crisp Fair Play Award. This season, I see they've signed Chick Charnley. So obviously they've given up all thoughts of 2 in a row.
Fair point, Greavesy.
Dear, oh dear, I mean, what are you jockos like, eh? With all that macho, arrogant stuff, I mean, let's be honest here, lads. You lot, arrogant or otherwise, will do nothing at the championships.
Oh. I don't know. What about the Tartan Army?
The Tartan Army will be a presence, all right. If they can get the time off school.
Right, draw your own conclusions on that one. But if Scotland is to remain a European force as a country of Europe, what happens when they step up a grade to domestic level?
Well, Saint, I'm afraid the jury's still out on that one.
Case number AD 1995, The People versus Football. Call Donald Finlay, QC.
My lords, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, fellow Masons, loyal servants of Her Most Glorious Britannic Majesty, I bring you tidings of a most grave situation. Timonic forces are on the march. Our magnificent manipulated media, our Scots sports, our sports scenes, our FM stations, our FN papers are succumbing to McNeism. We are under attack from the apprentice boys of Jerry. There are too many Mick names on the telly. Apart from Paddy Christie. And it is time to call no surrender to this trend. And that is what I, Donald Roussel Findlay, champion of the under-proddy dog, intends to do. Let's get good old-fashioned Dobbery back on the political agenda. Let's blame the Tims for the demise of football. I call to the stand my first accused, a man of substances. A man who brought a whole new meaning to the term blow football. Mr. Frank McAvenny.
The bunch.
Mr. McAvenny. Take to the stand.
It's not a problem, you know.
Mr. Macca. Let's talk about the highlights.
Sorry, pal. I mean, my hair dyed for years, you know.
I meant highlights as in good bits. What about your caps?
They're brilliant, aren't they?
Mr. McAvenny. Mr. Macca, in your own words, will you personally tell the jury how you dragged football down into the gutter?
In my own words? It's no problem, no. Oh, you know, you get the birds and the baby and all that, and I'm getting it, you know, things go better with coke and all that, you know. You're getting engaged hundreds and hundreds of times, like, you know. Daft boy, you know, but... No, that was
that was then, and this is now, and now I've screwed the bobbin completely. Now I've settled down. I've got a married bird, you know, and brilliant, man. No, it's dead good, right? And I've invested wisely in a diving expedition for sunken treasure, you know. Because you get the gold and the jewels and the doubloons and all that, you know, and I'm doing the school dinners, you know, with a cracking bird, like, you know, we are short skirt, right? So you can, no, it's brilliant, man. You can, you know, you can see our sussies and our arse, like, and you can't, oh. She, like, you know, she serves you your dinner, you know.
And do these dinners represent value for money?
Who gives a toss when you see the lot, you know?
So, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. Booze, bars, bonking, birds. Sir, you have disgraced the game.
It's not a problem, you know. I know, but when it comes to battling, right, you know, like when right ahead, you know, I mean, Alex Ferguson's got a prize guy there.
Aye, so my Eric attacked a fan. Hey, but did you see the fan? He was wearing a Man at C&A jacket. He deserved it. Say something, Eric.
What do you see when you look at me? A Frenchman who's ta'en l'Amadi. I have called my manager a bag of shit. And I have written some tough poems in my time. But I think only the people of Scotland only truly appreciate and understand me, because after the incident at Crystal Palace, only one club in Europe came in to sign me. Auchinleck Talbot. Will I ever play again? Pah, who cares? Who will succeed me? Duncan Ferguson?
Cheers, Ken, like, sir, I read this report that head on balls can cause permanent damage. Could be true. I suppose it's all down to whose balls you header and how hard.
Double toilet trouble. Fire bum and cistern bubble. The soccer squads had football on the runs, but there was no room for panic, no time for rash words. Reasoned discussion would always prevail. Crisis? What crisis? Surely a mistake, a misappropriation, a mismatch of the day.
Hey, Des Lynam here. Tell you what, all that wild living and still able to run around on the pitch. Alan Hansen. How do they do that?
I've no idea. All I know is you got to get the ball to the front man from the back man through the midfield man. And if you don't do that, you can forget it.
So, right, hey, point taken, but tell me this. How can they do that?
Tactics. At the end of the day, it's all down to them. Tactics.
What, those little mints you get in the plastic containers?
That's tic-tacs. I'm talking about tactics. They're crucial. They're vitally crucial. Because...
Sorry, Alan. Jimmy Hill, you want to say something?
I don't want to say anything. I just want to make a noise because it makes me feel very important.
Right, point taken. Though, Alan, what I'd like to know is this. You know those poles at either end of the pitch with the nets over them? Why do the players keep trying to put the ball between those poles and into the nets?
That's the goals. That's the object of the game, is to get the ball in the net.
Right, point taken.
But as I was saying earlier, it's all about tactics. They're crucial. They're vitally crucial because... You want a sore face?
Not just yet, Alan. Because, as I was saying, if England are going to win the European Championships, that must be great for Scotland, because we all know Scotland is part of England.
Right, that's it. I've had enough.
Right, well, back to the action, and as Peter Beardsley once said, "Oh, Newcastle,
Yes, this is me, Chick Young. Sports Sounds Totally Sensational Big Summer Signing. Previously, of course, Sports Sound had gone for the intellectual approach. But I firmly believe that all Radio Scotland lacked was access to punterdom. Now they have that access. Sports Sound is the door, and I am the knob. But now we're off to Fir Park, where Bob Cramsey is with Alex McLeish.
Alec, it's a good thing that game did not start until the 30th minute. Otherwise, everyone would have been exhausted by the end of the 90 minutes.
Thank you for... Sorry, I don't know what you're talking about.
Then let me put it another way. Was the franticity, nay, frenzic pace, inconducive to skillful football, or is that suggestion straw wigs and stilts?
No, you've... No, I'm sorry, I still don't know what you're talking about.
Don't worry, Alec. I am, in fact, very brainy with an expansive and impressive vocabulary, and you're not, so... Let's just talk about the participants. I thought that the big Dutchman looked a good player when he wasn't on the ball.
Well, that's why we got the big Dutchman. To be the big Dutchman in the team. Give him his due. That's what the big Dutchman did. He beat the big Dutchman.
While the show, sponsored by Bells, is not surprisingly full of clangers.
This is Ken McRobb, and welcome to the Scott FM Dudda. This is what it's all about. Saying this is what it's all about. Joe Harper over there in Edinburgh, do you see dramatic changes in the approaching season, or do you feel that for those clubs chasing Rangers, due partly to the Taylor report, the funds are just not available to make the kind of effort required to mount a serious challenge? Joe Harper, can you hear me?
Radio taxis, where's Carford?
Right. While our technical wizards work out that little gremlin, here's an interview none of us recorded earlier with Tommy Burns.
This is very, very true.
We at Celtic Football. We at Celtic Football Club know that things haven't been good enough at Celtic Football Club, but slowly but surely we're getting there. The jigsaw's coming together. It's a very, very hard jigsaw. But, I'm still looking for someone at the back to lead from the front, and I thought I might have had that when Mark McNally was wearing that headband. There was always a chance I might have slipped down over his eyes and improved his positional sense.
Tommy, Jerry McNee, the man who puts it to you straight. Tommy, off the record, and there is no way I would ever exclusively reveal this in my column or when I'm desperate for something to blab about on Scotsport. But what is the score between you and wee slaphead Fergus?
To be very honest, Jerry, in fact, to be very honest, I'm not sure I want to say too much.
Come on, Tommy. You can trust me. I'm your pal.
To be very honest, Jerry, I felt that my responsibilities had been diluted, and there was a square go. But I think that now that the president now accepts that I will never be a puppet manager.
Of course not, Tommy. Tommy, not so very long ago, you weren't such a merry ploughboy. On the playing side, in fact, things were pretty bad, and I'm thinking here particularly of Rangers.
You don't need to tell MD at Celtic Football Club that, Jerry. We were well aware of the situation. At one point, you're talking about, Basil Boli, perhaps Mikolaychenko, Salenko, Petric, Gascoigne. There was also rumours as well about Mark Hateley and also Charlie Miller. And it was very, very frightening, because we could have been contemplating the unthinkable, and that was Rangers with more Tims in the park than us.
It wouldn't matter, Tommy. They'd still be the Huns.
God willing, Jerry.
I'd like now to bring in Celtic captain Paul McStay.
Hey, after the Scottish Cup victory, the press described it as a disappointing final, Mainly because Celtic didn't blow it, but I just want to win more things, Starting with a raffle for a new Honda.
Paul McStay, a man who has finally fulfilled his potential and grown into his eyebrows. But what about the new lads in the likes of Pierre van Hooydonk?
It's a challenge for any foreign player coming to Scotland and see how long you can retain your dignity. Before the press take a picture of you in a kilt doing this. But for the moment, I try to get back into the international setup, you know. It's strange I have to score to be a Dutch cap, I don't think. It's time I go for my English lessons. I give them to Tosh McKinley. Yeah, you know, for sure there have been tough times at Celtic Park, but now, thanks to Fergus McCann, there is a light at the end of the tunnel.
A light at the end of the tunnel. Does that light need to be on? You know, of course I ask questions. I need to know that when I'm buying what's right for Celtic. So when I receive a fax from Tommy Burns saying I need a McLaren, come on, what the hell do we need with a Formula One racing car? Here, let me ask you, what do you think of that new stand? Gosh, those 48 hours before we opened were totally nerve-wracking. But in the end, we won that Jeanfield Street access round by, what was it, 5 councillors and 3 shareholders to 2. So I reckon it won't be long until we're not as bad as we were, and certainly better than we are. You know, I still keep getting annoyed by an irritating little tick. Michael Kelly, are you there?
Fergus, I don't lambast me, sonny boy. You don't know what the fans really want, not like me and the old board did. Okay, we chose to ignore them, but at least we knew.
Yeah, but Mikey, come on, what you've got to remember...
Fergus, if you'll just let me explain. The punters loved me. I was one of them. I knew what made them tick. Dressing up as a big bird and sitting in the jungle. And their patter was magic. Such imaginative use of sweary words. Such enterprise of the language. Did you know there were over 2,000 derogatory terms for a Protestant?
Meanwhile, just off the M8, there is still room for some good old-fashioned toadying at Her Majesty's Stadium, Ibrox, where I roll up my trouser leg as I enter the manager's temple to meet Walter Smith. Walter, if I could start with you, Walter, what about the club's new signings?
Well, obviously, particularly looking forward, you know, to an obviously mouth-watering prospect. Having the likes of Gascoigne, Petric, and Ian Ferguson, all within spitting distance of each other.
Walter, off the record, any chance you a wee swatch of that video with you, Archie Knox, and Chick Young? Well, when Archie Knox threatens to shove that microphone right up the wee man's shirt.
Well, particularly, no. Because it's soon to be released in the new official Rangers video. Simply the pest.
Finally, Walter, I've noticed you're very particular about the word particularly.
Well, obviously.
Aye, that one as well, particularly.
At the present moment?
Exactly. You'd think being the manager of a club the size of Rangers, you'd be able to invest in some new words.
Well, you know, I'm obviously not particularly bothered about extending my vocabulary, because here at Ibrox, you know, when it comes to talking, we've got somebody who can particularly talk for us all, and that's Ali McCoist.
Definitely show, superb. You know, people say I'm lucky, but see, if I'm lucky, I must be the luckiest unlucky person in the whole wide world. You know, the last 2 years have been shocking for me. The leg break, the injuries, my performance on the pitch, my performance in the fitted kitchen ads on the telly. You know, now I'm back and I've proved I still know how to take apart a defensive wall. And that'll certainly come in handy if Renfrew Council have their way.
And welcome back to Gazetta Gaza Glasgow with me, James Richardson, catching up with the latest footballing news from the pages of the Scottish sporting press over the last couple of weeks, starting with the Daily Ranger and some earth-shattering... some earth-shattering news stories like Gaza gets his roots dyed. Full colour spread on that one. Gaza buys a motorboat, a switch from steamboats to speedboats. Surely worthy of the full colour picture treatment it received there. Fair enough, mate. Gaza in Stirling Albion match, he is superb, full colour spread. Gaza in Stirling Albion bounce match against St Mirren, full colour spread again. Gaza gets off a bus, full story, pages 52 and 53. Gaza in Rangers team that lose against St Mirren, absolutely nothing at all. But what about the Geordie genius himself? I caught up with Gascoigne in Glasgow.
Well, I'm quite... Jimmy, you're going to get him, right? I'm quite happy with my cellular, like, and... Glasgow are such a big club, and... It's really lovely out in Lake Lomond, and I'm just here to do what I do best.
Corriere dello Sport said a Arrivederci, le divine horses Arceo, while the influential Mondiali Footballo led with Dafto Brusho off Skeeny. So, they obviously saw it as a bit of a surprise that Gascoigne would turn his back on a country where football is a religion, for a country where football is merely a bit of harmless ethnic cleansing.
I don't think it's such a big surprise me coming here, like, when you think of the English players who come up here in the past, like Butcher and Wilkins and Mikhailichenko and Souness, and we at Glasgow, we just want to do as well as our rivals over at Glasgow, and beat 9 in a row with 10 in a row, and then go on and win the European Cup, just like the Lisbon Leopards.
Hi, I'm Mark Haley, you know. Not so much Derry's Wall as Mac's Wall. I was looking after Paul when he first set foot in Scotland. First thing I suggested was, let's head down the Italian Centre and check out the Versace. He said he hated Italian food. You've got to be an example to the fans, I said. Never raise your voice louder than your jacket. Don't be flash, you know. Watch yourself on those roads, yeah? Unlike Air United's Vinnie Moore, who gets done for speeding in his Lotus. I think that's an outrage. A diddy like that's got a Lotus?
They say playing for the Old Firm is like living in a goldfish bowl.
but surely only for one half, given that goldfish are more orange than green. So as we turn the final page, we rest secure in the knowledge that our complacency continues to thrive. We have not outlived the Stone Age yet. We have yet to clear this Jurassic Park of the bones of contention, the fossils of folly, the dinosaurs of drivel.
Welcome back. Well, Jerry, inevitably going back to Gascoigne, what do you make of that?
Well, to be honest, Jim, it doesn't surprise me.
Well, I mean, it's not as if the fans haven't got behind him. I mean, within days, the country's most influential supporters club was trying to change its name to the Gaza Loyal.
But for legal reasons, they had to stick with the name they already had, the Daily Record.
That's a scunner. And what about our fellow professionals over at Queen Margaret Drive, the sports scene lads? I bet that Ibrox band fair dilated their sphincters. You got a message for them, Jerry?
Yes, it was a crushing blow to our fellow pros at Lodge Sports Scene.
Good shout, mate.
But sadly, it doesn't end there. After an extensive study of the situation, it saddens me greatly to report that football continues to permeate Scottish bigotry. I am sick of hearing about being up to the knees in Fenian blood. What has an accident at a blood transfusion unit in the Republic of Ireland got to do with football? The fields of Athenry. You'll never walk alone. Always look on the bright side of life. Must we have these Irish rebel songs? Bin this nonsense now.
You know, Jerry, you don't have to talk some pish at times.
Yes, but it's controversial pish.
Correctamundo. Right, Jerry, back to you in a minute, mate. Because now, time for the sports desk with Jim Delahunt.
Thanks, Shireen. Celtic may have at last found the deceptive finisher they're after. The club are reportedly set to move for schoolboy sensation Brandon Lee. World News and Greenpeace protesters arrived in Scotland today to protest over the French bomb, but were advised that Basil Bowley was back in France. And just to recap on the European draws, where it turned out a Deutschland double for the Scottish clubs. Wraith Rovers drew Bayern Munich, while Celtic got Paris Street German. Back to you, Viv.
Cheers, Kirsty. Jerry, when I'm on the street and I walk up to people to tell them who I am, what the punters want to know most is, who will be the champions?
Come on, Jim, son. It's too early in the season for rash predictions. Celtic.
Oh dear, Jerry's going for the beggars.
Hang on. Just hold on. Aren't you on record saying you thought it would be good for the game if Celtic mounted a serious challenge?
I only said it, Jay. He didn't actually mean it.
Well, I do, because I think they've got the men for the job, in the likes of Van Hooydonk.
Tall, dark, and hamstrung.
Andreas Tom.
Gut in Himmel.
And Brian McLaughlin.
Who couldn't score in a barrel of fannies. If I can say that. But seriously, Jerome, mate, I mean, come to grips. I mean, what's all that touring around in a circle that the Celtic lads do before a match? I mean, what are they doing? Are they novenating or doing a mass or is it some kind of Knights of St. Columba thing? Or could they be taking banned substances? Whatever is going on, I think the authorities would be well advised to carry out not only drug tests, but communion tests as well. Right, Jay?
Exactly. There can be no place in football for transubstantiation.
Sorry, Jay? Trans?
It's a big Tim word, Jim. Simply means conversion of bread and wine into body and blood. Nor can there be any place for, and I have to say it because you know what I'm like, for simulated orange walkery and flute playing.
Now, hold on, Jay. It was only a metaphysical flute.
Sorry, Jim, a meta?
It's a big proddy word, Jerry. Means kiddie on. However, Jerry, I have to say that I saw John Collins score a goal recently, and he did this, and not one mention in the press of him playing an Irish harp.
What I will say about this tawdry mess of affairs is that the clubs have at least recognised the problem and have instigated an educative programme called Kick Racism Out of Football.
And no afore time.
Hopefully, through this, we will no longer hear people being referred to as black sonsos.
Hear, hear.
English C's.
About time, too.
Or Fenian B's.
Now, hold on, Jay. No need to get down. Oh, and I'm hearing we can join Brian Laudrup now, live via satellite at Rangers training camp at Titwood. Brian, can you hear me, mate?
Yeah, definitely, Jim. I am hearing you, yeah.
Brian, Laudo, mate, how come you're so good?
Well,
Hey, what about the treble? Pimps, isn't it?
To be honest,
Laudo, give us the sash, eh? And you go, do it, mate, do it.
if you don't mind, Jim, I'd prefer just to concentrate on the football.
Oh, well, suit yourself.
Hello, Brian. Jerry here. some season last season, yet I remember picking up a newspaper and reading on the back page an article about Barcelona being in for you.
That's right, Jerry, and I'm sure I speak for millions of Rangers fans when I say that. When I saw that story, I near shat myself.
I was flattered when Barcelona came in for me, you know, but I'm very settled with my family here in Scotland, and I was not so sure that by going from Rangers to Barcelona, I would be going to a bigger club.
You're joking.
I'm warning you, Jerry.
But you know, for me, more importantly, in Spain, there are not so many Diddy defenders to rip the piss out of.
No problemo. Well, Bryzo, humongous one. As far as I'm concerned, you're simply the bestest. And before you go, I've just got one more question to ask you, and it's this, Brian. Brian, will you marry me?
Well, unfortunately, Brian has to go and get ready for the big match live here on Scotspot. Rangers versus anybody. With commentaries from me, Jerry McNee, the voice of a football, and summaries from whoever we can drag in. And Jim White, sweating in the studio with a couple of ex-Huns for company. Right. Jim, away you go and get the sweeties while I do the big man's job.
But Jerry!
On you go. I'll time you.
Big wowee!
And welcome to Ibrox Park. And what a match we have for you in prospect. Goal kick to Rangers. Gorham. Nice tights, Andy. I wonder if they're silk as well. And he throws it to Stephen Wright, and that haircut is a mess. And he kicks it long to Laudrup. Still Laudrup here. Wonderful play. What a man to watch here. A joy. Incredible play. The man really is a gifted player. Incredible play here. Oh, look at that. You'd think the ball was attached to his foot. Feet of Velcro. Incredible play. Oh, look at that. He's goading the players. Play here. Oh, my goodness. Oh, he's even signing an autograph for a wee man in the audience. That's incredible.
Greater love hath no man than to lay down his life for his football. To sacrifice his sanity for a soccer nation of no fixed odds. Scotland, never beaten, only defeated. Never humbled, only humped. A patriotic affront whose spirits were born of the Highland League clearances and the desperation of our broth. Warrior poets whose passion evokes the memory of Burns and Scott. That's Hugh and Jockey. And who in the past have seen their pride hung, drawn, and quartered by the typewriter hammers of the Scots. But now a new word enters our Euro vocabulary. Qualification. Qualification to march south again. Qualification to walk in the footsteps of our ancestors, rekindling the memory of William Wallace, who, if he were being tortured to his death this very day, would be moved to utter as his final word, Wembley! Now's the day and now's the hour to unfurl our flag, the lion rampant. And finally, truly at last, take control of our own density. That's it. It's all over. Good night.